You can go ahead, Michelle. Ed, your.
All right. I'll call the meeting of I'll call to order this meeting of the library board on, for November 2024. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, I'm sorry, it's 5:07 p.m.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michelle, would you prefer to defer the talking through the meeting to Carrie, or I wasn't
okay to start.
okay? If for some reason it gets to be too
it
much.
just sounds bad. I'm not actually struggling.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
All right, no, don't apologize.
Roll call, please.
All right, Phyllis.
Here.
Barb.
Here.
Michelle.
Here.
Carrie.
Here.
Tracy.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Just barely, right? Statement of public notice.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Any public comments? Nobody is here. Is there anybody online?
No one. Whoops. I really got no one online. I don't think. Let me just triple check before. Okay, there we go. Nope, no one online.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting on October 15th, 2024, as well as the October 2024 financials?
I so moved.
I second.
Any discussion and questions on the minutes or the financials?
On page 6, the second item, it says Image Apparel Inc.
Apparel Inc. Yep. So every year, the city gives a stipend to each staff member for like logoed clothing,
Oh, okay.
and then it gets charged to the department.
Okay.
So
Good question.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, wow, you
mhm.
guys went all out on something.
Yeah, it's each per the city, each staff member is given a certain amount of money. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
what kind of things do they get with that from?
like a polo shirts that say
Exact
like Muskego Public Library on it, things like that. Yep.
That's cool.
So I didn't see any costs for October. Are all the expenses for the broken pipes fixed from both your office and over there?
No, let me think here. My office, I believe those have finished. The meeting room 4, I don't know if those have hit
I
yet.
know we talked last month that those were gonna be kind of big. I was just
Right.
wondering, I was
Yeah.
wondering if they were gonna fall in last month or not.
I don't think they've hit yet. And we still have not repaired. We repaired meeting room 4, but there's still a leak on the dry side of the system and a leak on the wet side of the system in the walls. And I have been politely badgering the company. They gave me the quote to find the dry side leak. It's about $1,500, so $1,500. That's just to walk around and invest and try to find it because we don't know where the leak is. It could be literally anywhere in this building on the dry side. And so they actually have to spray mint scent into the pipes, and then they walk around and try to figure out where they smell mint the most because these leaks can be the size of pinholes. And especially because if it's on the dry side, there's no water saying, hey, here's a leak. It's the only way they can do it. So it's a really absurd.
Archaic.
It just takes forever. Like there's no better way to do
At least it's a nice
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is just to do the searching, and then when they find it, the repair cost will be something different.
Right.
The wet side, they have not given me a quote yet, and I'm just like still hammering away. I'm like, please get me this number. We need to know what this is.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the dry side would have a leak because the water, is
Right.
always working on it, but you wouldn't think about
Right.
just air.
Yeah. Yep. I know. So unfortunately, no, it's not the end of it. And, we're just going to keep coming at it. We got a $1,000 grant for continuing education. So that offset one of the conferences. So that's
Mhm.
great. So,
Yeah, I saw that. That's nice.
Yeah. So anyway.
I didn't know if the lighting in the children's room, the colorful lights, they're not in use. And I thought, is there another leak that I just didn't hear about yet that caused that? Or if they're just not being used?
A leak? No.
No?
Is it working? No.
Oh.
And I'll be honest, we have a urinal that's broken, and I'm waiting for city maintenance to come because I'm hoping they can fix it, but so I don't have to call a plumber. The other ones are working, so we put a box in it.
It's just
and
one.
Exactly. And then the lights, we know they're not working. I don't know why yet. Because it's not the priority compared to these other things, I'm just sort of not focusing on it right now.
And there is lighting in the room, so it's
Exactly. I'm hoping, and I just have not had a chance to look at it, I'm hoping that maybe if I swap out the battery in the panel, that maybe it's like an easy fix. I just haven't been able to look at it. But yes, Carrie, you are right. It's not working. It's not working.
Okay.
Very sad. But
Low on the totem pole of what needs to be addressed. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
but
Yeah.
frustrating because the lights aren't that old. So I'm really hoping there's just something
Right.
in the mechanicals that's like easy troubleshooting.
Mhm.
So
Any other questions or comments?
I saw the Betty Bryn Pass has been
Oh, yeah.
funded.
That's good.
That's great.
yep, yeah. Again, still sad about. We just lost Tracy. So we just have to.
I just lost my voice too. So Carrie, do you mind taking over the rest?
That's
of the
fine.
meeting?
All right. We just
know what
have to
happened.
wait because Tracy's our quorum. So nobody move, nobody blink, and I'm sure it's just a.
There she is.
Hi, Tracy.
Can she hear us?
Let's take. We'll just give her a second.
What does the red icon mean?
It means that her camera's turned off.
Okay. As long as she's not muted and trying to talk to us.
And I do not believe. Yeah, she's still as a panelist. Let's see, is there anything I need to do? Yeah, no. Tracy, can you hear us? Is it her?
She played a
Good
song
stuff.
for us.
She can't talk, but she can make sounds, right? AI is with us.
Yes. I will just pause for a minute. This is the document that will be used in closed session. I'm just going to hand it out to everyone.
Okay. Thank you. I was going to ask, how does it work? Because last time I feel like when we went into closed session, you just turned everything off. And now we need
Tracy's
Tracy.
still-
Yeah.
So,
So
will
what
it still be private?
What
with
I
us?
need to do is like block anyone else from entering the Zoom meeting at that point. Here's the other one. What I may do is
I
just
have one.
you have I gave that to you. Yeah.
This is your goals for this year, the current year? Okay, great. I was actually thinking, I wonder if I have a copy of that
Yeah, and
So
it was
this is great.
it's the same as the attachment that I sent a couple of days ago. Hi Tracy,
Okay.
can you hear us okay?
Sorry guys, I was in the elevator and then I forgot my umbrella and then I had to go back to the office to get it and
That's
totally
okay.
lost connection.
I promise we said nothing of note. We sat and blinked at each other, so.
Okay, so sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So, any other questions about the consent agenda?
I don't know if it's part of it on page 9. Is page 9 part of it or not?
It's the financials, and so yes, it is part of it.
Okay. I was looking at the percentages and how we're doing for our budget.
Yep.
And there were 3 areas that I was looking at. And the first one is, of course, maintenance of building and grounds.
Yep.
And we're at 96, but that's as of October.
Right. So everything that I've been telling you, we're going to be over budget. We weren't, but I also knew all of the planned maintenance we needed to do on the systems.
Right.
And so in my mind, we were already over budget, even though we weren't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. As of this second, we are not, but we will be over budget in that line
Right.
item.
And that's what you've been telling the city about.
Exactly. Yep.
And then the next one, I see that housekeeping supplies went up. Is that just from rising costs, or did we need additional stuff than usual?
It's toilet paper.
Yeah.
We have been going through toilet paper really fast.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, we're busier than we were last year. If you look at, I know you can't tell by the library
More people
visits,
coming in.
but like I promise you, we had more. I mean, if you look at the last 3 months, every
Mhm.
percentage, our checkouts are higher, our public meeting room use is higher.
Yeah.
Um,
and study rooms, we have
our study-
more study
exactly.
area.
Yeah, and
And
so
they're here for sustained time, so.
I do not think we're going to have to. We purchase in bulk, like quarterly, basically, and we've made what I think to be the last purchase of the year. I think we're
Okay.
going to have enough toilet paper to get through the year, but it's the toilet paper
Okay.
specifically.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, are we going to have another bill after this? We're already at 103%.
Yeah. And I tell you, we do not buy nice toilet paper, so it's just a quantity thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last one is library friends expense.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is at 117%.
Yeah. The thing about that line item is that whatever amount you see,
Mm-hmm. Are we getting
we're getting
reimbursed?
matching revenue in the back end. We
Okay.
just we are required to have an expense in so that we can revenue out.
Mhm.
It makes me sad because like you never know. The friends may give more than 5,000. They often always do, but I never know exactly. So I just put this placeholder, and so it looks like we go over budget, but
Yeah.
the city gets that exact money back, or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
good
just
thing, but
seeing that because normally they're the ones giving.
right,
but-
yeah. From an accounting perspective, you have to have an expense line to match
Right.
the revenue.
Okay.
But it's psychologically hard, right? Because if we go over budget, my first thing will be, but by the way, we got grants we didn't anticipate, and so that bumps our expense. And the friends gave more than usual. That makes our expenses higher. So like whenever I look at our total end of the year, I think, okay, but some of that money was,
Right.
it showed up on the revenue side. So
Right. Okay. Yeah, and it is good to know because when you make a request the next time, you can say, this is how much we ended up using. Would it be all right for you to cover that amount next year or whatever? That's all of my
yeah,
questions.
those are great questions.
Sure. All in favor of approving the minutes and financials from October?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. And
So Michelle, are you voting as the president or are you not voting?
I voted.
You vote. You typically vote? Aaron used to not vote except in case of tie, but our bylaws say that the president can vote. What have you been doing? And have I just been not?
I think that she always votes.
You always, okay, never mind. Ignore
I
it.
didn't think about it, but because tonight we need the quorum, I was gonna vote.
Yeah, ignore everything I said.
No,
Onward.
not at all. I never thought about that.
No.
Did Gail vote? She always voted.
She always voted.
Did she?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
She did.
It
All right.
makes
Not that
sense
it
to
matters,
vote.
I'm just-
I mean, again, the bylaws say you can.
Well, if you dissent, then that should make a difference too.
All right, president's report. Oh, sorry.
President's report.
No report tonight. Let's see, otherwise, directors. Oh,
Director's report.
All right, director's report. We're all excited. That's what how you know you have a lot of leaders in the room when we're all like trying to. All right, let's see here. We had our in-service in October. We did CPR training with the fire department. Did a review of the AED, and of course CPR training. We have a new reservation software that's going to be coming online. I really want to emphasize that software has taken a lot of prep to do. We had to build the entire architecture of the software. Like, I don't mean like the programming, but we had to say, what are all the rooms? What's the capacity? What's the furniture in the room? What's the reservation capability? What's it going to look like on the staff side? What's it going to look like on the public side? But at the end, people will be able to see what the availability of all the public meeting rooms are. And so
that's
when they're
nice.
trying to make reservations, they'll, instead of having to call, they're just going to know. And they can make the reservations themselves pending staff approval. So that's going to be really helpful. They'll still be able to do it the old-fashioned way if they want, but it's just another tool for our patrons to be able to really do things.
Right, especially seeing the layout of the room before they get there, so
Exactly.
that they know what to expect and what they have to work with. And
Exactly. It's going to be really exciting for them. Sam and Emma went to the Wisconsin Library Association conference, and we received that $1,000 scholarship to use towards conference expenses. So that was really great. Congrats to Sam. She's the one that applied. Let's see here. We have our Santa fundraiser, Friends fundraiser coming up December 7th. We did publish our two holiday events in the Chamber Holiday Guide. By the way, if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. It's a digital guide that the Chamber puts out.
Oh.
And there's just every single Santa event or church service or holiday deals that are going on in the community.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's so cool, yeah.
I'll have to see that.
So our Santa fundraiser is in it, and then our Laura Ingalls Wilder Christmas program is also in it. So highly recommend you take a look at it. Let's see here. Thanks to the Women's Club donation, we were able to purchase the updated furnishings and play equipment for our kids area. The kids are so happy. I'll show you a photo in a little bit in my presentation. We're grateful to the Women's Club. I do have some cards that a bunch of kids signed to give to the Women's Club. So that'll be nice. And we did a Facebook post as well. So we're really grateful to that. And we're going to purchase some new computers for the OPAC search stations as well, because they're so slow. So I'm working with IT right now on that. So just lots of really positive things in that regard. Escape room is done. As you can see, there's a few dregs left that we're cleaning up. Had 124 people participate. That was great. We have a new shelver. And let's see, dates of note on packet page 14. December 17th, 5 o'clock is our next library board meeting. Personnel committee is going to meet at some point to write up the evaluation based on your feedback today. There was a question by a trustee about moving the meetings moving forward to 5:30, just because of commute time. And I didn't want to put that on the agenda this time. There's so few people here anyway, including the trustee that was interested in that. So at the December meeting, I will bring that up. I will also show you what the bylaws say. The bylaws do not forbid it. You have the ability to make that decision. But of course, we can't like if it doesn't work for everyone else, that is a problem as well. So, but just know I'm bringing it before you. So, ponder it in your mind and what the implications are to you. And then it'll be on the agenda in December. Let's see here. Building updates. So the pipes that I mentioned, the permanent fix to the pipe in meeting room 4 was made. The additional leak that I talked about in meeting room 4, which is within the wall, on the wet side of the system. And then there, on the dry side, there is a leak that they need to find. So we are going to be working on that. It needs to be done. It is a requirement to fix for our system. So we had issues with our boilers. They both turned off. That was interesting. Even better, we don't know why.
Wasn't dead of winter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I went upstairs. I looked at the software because I'd gotten some training on it before maintenance left. I was able to identify where the alerts were coming from. I was able to send the photos to the contractor. They were able to identify, like, okay, I think we can stop by really quick. They reset the boilers. They showed me how to do it, and they said, I'm the only one who's going to be resetting the boilers. Let me put it to you that way. It's not something we're going to train everyone on, but it worked. And they've been fine ever since. I brought them in for a fall preventative maintenance today. We kind of like you may do in your residential home, like quarterly or annual maintenances for the AC and then for the heating. So they had their scheduled, fall maintenance. And he said things still look like they're going well. We're going to replace some belts and filters, and we're just keeping an eye on it. So Girl Scout Troop did their service project. They had approached me, and I said, I know this isn't glorious, but could you paint our fence? It would be so good. And it looks great. It looks so nice. So I'm really appreciative of Troop 9009, and we put a post on Facebook about that to thank them with their approval. Back in July, I updated you guys on the new signage in progress. This has been a really thoughtful but long process. So the library board had given me a directive to improve the wayfinding signage in our last strategic plan. We did lots of studying and talking with staff and patrons and patron behavior to say, like, what are the bump points? Where are people stopping and going, where am I? What are they looking for that they can't find? We built budget into each of these respective capital projects that were connected to the signage, so service desks, restrooms, study rooms, and we got an accessibility grant that we applied for because signage is very helpful. It helps accessibility. We spoke with 3 companies on the style needs. We selected a company. It was a very long and thoughtful design process. We were thinking about contrast, font size, font color, size of the signage, location of the signage. It took quite a while going back and forth with the company, but we are there finally. So the total is $13,397, but we are getting 18 signs for that, and it is split over those 3 capital projects and the grant. The signs for the study pods and the study rooms in that capital, the signs for the restrooms and the restrooms. So we had planned in those different capital projects, and so the budgets are split, in those respective areas. The reason why we waited to do a collective purchase is just because we wanted the design to be cohesive, right? The more consistent the signage is, the more people look and recognize it as official signage as opposed to random stuff. So we're really excited to get that done. I think it will be at the end of this long and thoughtful process, it's really going to improve how people navigate the building. So,
And what's the timing for those to get installed?
they're going to manufacture them, and hopefully in December. That's my hope.
So yeah, this year.
I'm trying to check things off this list.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? We did an assessment on how noise moves through the building and came up with some ideas. That was part of our 2024 action plan. You know, we're a big box, right? A beautiful open concept. And so There were a few things that we realized that we could do to help with that, so we're going to work on that. We also did a study on study room use and public meeting room use. I'm not ready to talk with you guys about that yet, but it's going to be timed with when I bring the public meeting room policy before you, because all of those results are sort of tied into that. So we will be talking about that in depth when we get to that policy review, which will be probably January or February. So that's coming up, but that was time well spent, and lots of interesting analysis came out of that. The grants. What else? Since we last spoke. Okay, funding. We put in for an opportunity came up, and we'll talk more about this when we get to the MOU, but it's going to give us access to another pod to be used for, among other things, job like interviews and searching for jobs and things like that. And they said we could buy a pod similar to the one we have, but bigger. So it can be wheelchair accessible, larger groups. So this was a good grant for us. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the MOU. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. We have a lot of stuff to do, and I just don't want to lose a quorum. So if you have any other questions, you can always contact me in the meantime. So,
Does Tracy have to leave?
Tracy, do you know what time you have to leave?
Yeah, probably 5 to 6.
Okay, we need to
Our
cruise.
meeting starts at 6.
5 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay, let's cruise, guys.
And I think I'm the quorum for that group too.
You, Tracy, you're so popular. Let's move. All right.
All right, so unfinished business, we didn't have anything. New business, we need to have discussion. Do we want to do things in order, or do we want to skip so that we have Tracy for the closed session?
The thing that we really need to pass this Bridges
Okay.
member library agreement. This will
Okay.
be quick.
We don't get her email in closed session. We don't need a quorum for closed session, right? Because we're not voting on
We need a quorum where the meeting ends.
And that's after.
So
Okay,
let's just keep going along.
all right. Is this you or is this me?
You're going to ask for a motion.
Okay. Can I have I have to find the words. A motion to approve the cafe agreements? Is that right?
I'll move.
Oh, it's the whole thing.
Okay.
Discussion action for the 2025 annual addendum to the Bridges Library System member library and cafe agreements.
I'll move.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, really quick, packet page 18 is the background document, which I won't go over because you had it in advance.
Right.
Packet page 19, you've already approved this money because it was in the budget that we approved and sent onto the city. So this is just showing you like what the different parts are, but like you already had these numbers built into our revenue and operating, not to like rush us, but any questions?
No. I'll approve.
Or all those in favor?
All those in favor, thank you.
Aye.
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 All right, very good.
And then Michelle will sign that later.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, and then discussion for the 2025 action plan.
All right.
Do we
this-
need to do that right now, or?
Yeah, because I think we can make this quick.
Okay.
This is a first read. I always want to make sure we have a first read so that you guys see it the month before it actually comes. That being said, feel free to peruse it. If you have any hot ticket questions you need to ask me now, you can do that. Otherwise, I strongly encourage, and you saw me say that in the email I sent to everyone, ask me questions in between. I'm happy to answer anything in the in-between. Shoot me an email, give me a phone call. And then everyone there will be more time to talk on it in December if you have any follow-up questions. And then they'll vote in December. So this was just making sure it was in the packet so that everyone got it.
Right.
Does anyone have any questions about how this process works? Or
I wanted to note that we actually saw all of these items last year. It was when we did the whole 5-year plan.
Mhm.
It's all in there, and she just pulled out some parts of it for this year. So that's where all of these items came from.
yeah, that's a really good point, Carrie. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it comes from the strategic plan. We tweak a few things depending upon if new ideas come up, but because we're so fresh off the strategic plan, a lot of this is going to be straight from there. So, any questions? All right.
Okay. We don't need to do any action because
It's just a discussion. So, all right.
Then discussion, Muskego Library 2024 Year in Review Director Summary.
All right, so I'm gonna breeze through this. I know it's hard because you guys don't get a chance to see me in the in-between. So this is sort of high-level things. It doesn't represent the day-to-day. We've had a lot of checkouts this year, and there's more to come. Higher checkouts than last year, higher electronic checkouts than last year, higher Hoopla canopy than last year, and we have more coming. Reference questions, over 9,500 year to date, over 12,000 technical questions. Our meeting room use is through the roof, 937 meetings to date. And as you can see, we do so many things, and you can just see all the reading programs that we do throughout the year, right? The summer reading program is being our biggest, but winter reading program, we did the Read On Wisconsin program with Bucky and Hunter, the 1,000 books before kindergarten and 500 books before 15. So there's lots of literacy opportunities for kids and adults and teens to encourage their love of reading. Children's Services, they've so far this year, and this is just through October, so over 10,000 attendees, over 240 programs. Teen Services this year, you can see all the different things they're doing, programs, passive programs, escape rooms, break-in bags, and they had 233 registrants for the summer reading program, which is really amazing for that age group. Adult Services, we had 104 programs and 1,162 attendees so far this year. And you can see how well our all ages programs and offsite programs are doing as well. Grant funding, this is just a fun way of looking at it. I know I've shown you the big list, but you can see how consistently we're looking for outside funding. There might be a gap of a month, but we're very consistently working through the year to find outside funding, whether it's working with the Friends to gain that, grants, outside community organizations, things like that. And staff work really hard also to secure in-kind donations for summer reading coupons and prizes. So we're working to try to find that money. We had a lot of technology updates in 2024, and technology updates bring new possibilities, but it also takes a lot of work. And sometimes I don't think we necessarily see the visibility of it. The RFID implementation, of course, was one of the most visible, as was the library website. And all of that took a lot of staff time to get it ready, right? Websites don't automatically copy, paste, and become. It takes staff time and organization. So all of these things were things that happened. Some, like the firewall, more behind the scenes. Some, again, like RFID, that was much more visible, but all to benefit our patrons or staff workflows.
I was wondering what Message B is.
It's a new texting message. It's through the system, but
Okay.
it required a lot of staff monitoring. It's not just programs, not just technology, it's spaces also. When you think of all the spaces we have, our meeting rooms, our pods, our open seating and public computers, our outdoor spaces, our collection areas, and we did a lot of work in 2024. I managed these projects, the study pod installation, which was not as easy as just clicking by, the renovation of our single stall restroom, the addition of the adjustable height universal changing table. It's only the second one in Waukesha County in a public venue. Removal of the wallpaper, safety railing refinishing, and of course the planning for the light poles commenced, which I never had made space for that because I thought the project would be different than it was. So those were all projects that I managed related to the library space in 2024. Just wanted to show you, because you guys need to take satisfaction in this as well. You should be proud of yourselves. You guys approve these projects. If you don't approve them, they don't get done. So your guys' thoughtful consideration, participation in the library board allows things like this to happen. Please ignore those weeds. But all of these projects, this was when we made the post. Changing Spaces Wisconsin posted about our universal changing table recently. Then we reposted it, and you can see all of the 152 likes. And then just all the comments about the appreciation. And so, again, these are things that you guys, in your support and your inclusion in capital projects and in strategic planning, it really does make a huge difference. So you should be proud of that. So our study pods, we went from 4 to 8 overnight, right? Really exciting, and soon to be 9 with that upcoming grant. The project that wasn't, there was a lot of planning that I did, mapping out stuff like that. So, but that effort is saved for the future. So it's just in a folder, but it'll be ready for us when we need it. Obviously, there's lots of things I'm doing beyond the building and staff are doing beyond the building. These are marketing areas we're always attending to and crafting. The outreach that we're doing, the intergenerational story times, and Hugs for Seniors in our senior living communities, National Night Out, Jammin', Muskego Food Pantry, Summer Storytime Parks, the Books and Brews at a local business, the deposit collections, which are traveling book collections that go to our senior living communities, and of course advocacy. I attended the State Joint Finance Committee listening session to talk about libraries, State Library Legislative Day to talk with our legislators. I attend the director meetings within our system, and of course I participate in the city budget process. So these are all things that I'm doing to talk about libraries and talk about funding for libraries beyond the building. Community connections. The staff and I are working really hard to connect and represent the library within our community, and these are just some of our stakeholders. It's not all of them. And just some example of, it's our Read on Wisconsin. This is the Women's Club donation and our Girl Scout troop just recently. Staff do lots of training. They attend system meetings, state meetings, conference trainings. They participate in state organizations. So they're working really hard. Their perspective is not just within this building. I did lots of continuing education this year. I'm required to. So I had 25 continuing education hours in 2024 to maintain the grade 1 certification. All of that funnels through our system. They receive my report and they authenticate it and send it on to the state. These are just an example of some of the trainings that I did this year. The unexpected, boy, did we have it this year. I won't go into it, but that's just a list of it all. And of course, my job is, it's built in that I'm going to respond to the unexpected. This felt very concentrated this year. And I really want to call out with there being a gap in maintenance. We have not had a city maintenance person for the last month and a half. There's been lots of things that I've been doing that normally would have fell to that position, including building documentation that we did not have. And that's going to be huge for the onboarding of the maintenance person. So, yeah, Areas of attention, these are things that I'm thinking about. I didn't want to call them challenges, but funding, storage space, building maintenance, documentation or the absence of it, staff turnover, which we don't have high turnover, but anytime you lose a staff member, anytime you're onboarding a new staff member, it does take time. And then, of course, electronic materials, the interest versus what we can actually provide. We know still that the holds lines are longer than we would like. And then lastly, these are my goals. You have the document that this slide doesn't show the metrics I used to achieve them. We worked on the 2025 action plan, which you saw, and there's still more to come, right? So this is just sort of a summary of the library and the staff's hard work for the year and sort of a snapshot of the things that I was doing. So that's that. So that's all I have about that. Done.
Okay.
So at this point, we would go into closed session.
So I guess I shouldn't move forward with the MOU for Job Pod until you guys approve it.
Right.
Obviously, I really want to make sure you guys have time to do feedback before we close this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you want to do that then next?
Tracy has 7 minutes.
yeah.
I know.
I know.
When is the deadline for the MOU agreement? Is that today?
It's not today, but we just can't move on it, and which means they can't move on it. And I don't know when they have to purchase the pod. I'm wondering.
Can't I just email all the board members for feedback?
Can't we just vote
Do we
on
have
it
to have a
without
closed session?
big discussion?
I mean, I think we
I'm good with
can.
that.
Yeah, I think either way, we don't have enough time for you guys to talk about my eval. I
Well,
mean,
we aren't gonna reduce it, so.
What if
Right.
what if I email, get the feedback, and we have a little closed session in December?
I say just make a motion.
Yeah.
I motion to approve.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
let's move to approve. As Tracy said, let's move to approve the job pod. I think
Okay.
we should make a motion to defer the closed session
Okay.
to the next December meeting because that's what it. Yep, very good. Okay, so
Okay, so she moved to approve the job pod, right?
I will, yeah.
Barb's a first. Tracy, did you want to second that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I just want to keep adding, I don't know what it is with the audio for this, but it's really bad.
Okay,
I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing everything, but it's like just gargly.
okay. I'm sorry about that.
No.
Okay, so we have a first and a second on that. That's packet page 37. And basically, everything's there. There's not a lot of losses for us. They're gonna pay for everything. We already do this kind of work. If someone says, I need help figuring out how to access the Department of Workforce Development's website, we will do that. Really, it's making space for this pod. It will be branded. It says Job Pod by Microsoft. But
But it can be used for other things.
it can. So the primary purpose
Okay,
is
that's
for that. But I said to them, I'm like, if someone's in that pod, I don't want to leave it empty. And if someone's in there, are we going to really kick them out? And they said, that's up to you. So there are some check-ins that we have to do with them. But given what we are going to receive and given that our patrons will have more spaces to do important work like job seeking, it feels like a win all around for us. So.
Will it be positioned in that line or will it be in a different spot?
Still working on that. I
Okay.
have 3 different places. All of them have pros and cons. So
Okay.
I'll figure it out.
And you said that it would be similar to the other one, but larger.
I want it to be wheelchair accessible, so that way if someone's meeting with like a Department of Workforce Development person or anyone, they can do
Right.
that easily.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, that answered all my questions. Oh, except one. That part where it says maintain at least one staff member who has completed an approved job pod training.
Yep.
Is that an extensive training?
No, it's an online training. I think it's like a 2-hour training or something. So,
Okay, so you'd probably have more than one person on hand?
yeah,
Okay,
good question though.
okay. So any other questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the job pod memorandum of understanding?
that a separate?
I thought I already made that.
Oh, then we just have to vote, sorry.
Yeah, we did that?
You just have to vote, yep.
All right. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, everyone approved.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So now I think we need to make a motion to defer the last line item.
Can I get a motion to defer the last item, the notice of closed session?
I move that we defer the closed session until December, the December meeting.
And I just, Phyllis, would you mind just reading off the closed session, including the discussion of, and then
the
read off
discussion
that
of.
full line?
Okay, I move that we defer the closed session
Discussion.
and discussion until the December meeting.
Yep, the discussion of the library director evaluation feedback.
The discussion of the library director feedback.
Awesome. I know it's a lot.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Brandy, does that have a deadline?
So it'll be due January 4th. I just always like to get the feedback because sometimes personnel committee can't meet until December, but this is okay. As long as we have a quorum in December, we'll be good. So
So could we then roll it all up at that meeting, because you had thrown out other dates?
let's talk about that after. I'll have an answer for you. So
Well, and the other thing too is we've done closed sessions ahead of the meeting, so then you kind of get that out of the way and then go into open meeting.
we could, you mean like you want to do that before like the director report and all that stuff too?
Yep. As long as it's something that's already like, we know we're gonna do it,
Sure.
you know.
Well, I'll put it as new business, but you guys can vote in the meeting if you want to move it wherever you want in the agenda. So,
Sure, that sounds fine.
okay. All right. So first was a Phyllis. Anyone have a second?
Second.
All right. Sorry, Tracy. Michelle beat you a little bit to it. So,
Okay, no worries.
Okay. So, communications and miscellaneous.
sorry, they have
Oh.
to vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
I was ready to move on. Communications and miscellaneous business as authorized by law? No? Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Oh, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right. Motion.
Thank you guys for being accommodating.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it.
Motion passes 5 in favor at 5:55. Good night, Tracy. Have a great meeting.
You're making it.
Thank you.